Everyone was here that day working their ass off, and you were nowhere to be found.
Months after that blistering criticism, we finally know where the Kerr County judge was after the deadly 4th of July flooding. Our I-Team's Andrea Lucia has in fact obtained hundreds of never-before-released emails and text messages. She's joining us with what she has learned. Andrea?
Yeah, Doug, the county judge is the county's chief executive officer. And on the 4th of July, with homes underwater and hundreds of people still missing, county officials were at times having trouble getting a hold of him. Even when the governor himself was in Kerrville, Judge Kelly was not. And in one case, when a commissioner even directly told him he was needed there, the judge said no.
I'm a local attorney and serve as a county judge with a very small staff.
Kerr County Judge Rod Kelly had planned to spend the 4th of July at his family's lake house on Lake Travis, a 2-hour drive from the county seat in Kerrville. And that's where he was at 5 that morning when he received an emergency code red message from the county warning those in the Hunt area to evacuate or get to high ground. The Guadalupe River had overflowed its bounds in the middle of the night, sweeping up people and homes in its path and claiming the lives of an entire cabin of young girls at Camp Mystic. It was nearly an hour and a half after the code red, though, when Kelly, still seemingly unaware of the situation's severity, wrote his emergency management coordinator. Just checking in. Looks like our drought finally broke. How bad is it there? What do we need to be doing? Emergency declaration time? And an hour and a half after that, Judge Kelly wrote he was headed back and asked that a disaster declaration be sent to the sheriff's office for him to sign. At 10:20 that morning, dispatch confirmed he'd arrived, and at 11:30 he gave a press conference on the ongoing rescue efforts.
Everybody is doing everything within their power to get these kids out.
He mentioned his own property flooded.
I'm happy to say that the water did not get in the house. It got my office and the fence and the gate.
It's not clear how long the county judge stayed in Kerrville, but around 7 that evening he wrote unable to come back into town tonight, explaining that his wife was afraid of looting. At 8:45 he checked in asking about the governor, lieutenant governor, and DPS colonel, and was told they're here now. At 9, Commissioner Tom Jones wrote the judge, "Are you getting any of my texts?" Judge Kelly responded he wasn't sure, but said he was working to arrange for Senator Cornyn and Governor Abbott to be at a press conference the following day. Commissioner Jones replied he was in a meeting with the governor and his group right now. "I've been trying to reach you." He then wrote, "I need you here if possible." Judge Kelly, though, said, "No, I can't do that. My wife is still in shock for the flood and its loss of life and property, ours, and worried about looters. I need to take care of her this evening."
Judge Kelly, I never saw you on day one.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick later blasted Kelly for his decision.
You should have been here directing that response. Everyone was here that day working their ass off, and you were nowhere to be found. I requested and received messages sent by the sheriff and the emergency management coordinator as well. They were actively responding to the crisis, coordinating shelter space, resources. We didn't see anywhere near the same involvement from the county judge. It is worth noting Kelly recently announced he will not be running for re-election. He says it is a decision he made before the floods. I did reach out for comment from him for this story, but have not yet received a response.
So question, what about communication being sent out in advance of the storm? I know you looked through so much. Do we know if county officials were worried in any way about the potential for flooding?
Yeah, the messages I saw from July 3rd, the day before the storm, showed county officials mostly focused on enjoying the holiday weekend. There was a possibility of flooding in the forecast, but when the flooding started, the county judge was out of town, the emergency management coordinator was out sick, and the sheriff was asleep. And the code red to evacuate that I mentioned earlier took 40 minutes to issue because no one was available to send it.
A far deeper dive and more answers. Andrea Lucia, thank you. We are focusing some of our attention on the people who are with our children when they're at school. 8 educators of late have been arrested or placed on leave, and this is in just the last month. And we're asking the obvious question tonight, is this a troubling trend? Our Amelia Mugavero searching for answers.
At this point, it's almost become routine. Teacher after teacher making headlines for misconduct. Since early October, 6 teachers across North Texas have been arrested on felony charges, including cases involving sexual misconduct in Mansfield, Anna, and Wiley. But half of those come from Salina ISD alone, including 2 teachers arrested for being impaired at school, and another middle school coach, Caleb Elliott, was charged with possession of child porn and secretly filming boys in a school locker room. Now these teachers are just a fraction of the thousands employed across North Texas. But is it alarming to see so many of these cases at once? Well, Texas's largest teachers union says yes.
Anytime that we have an individual, particularly that has committed felony level activity that could potentially put our students at harm.
Zeph Capo is the president of Texas's American Federation of Teachers, and he says the issue goes well beyond bad actors, pointing instead to how teachers are vetted.
The answer that the state came up with, which was lower the standards that it takes to become a teacher and enter the classroom, is one of the driving issues.
In Salina, 2 additional coaches are on leave. Head football coach Bill Elliott, tied to his son Caleb's criminal case, and wrestling coach Neil Phillips under investigation for alleged misconduct at his former district in Melissa ISD. But neither one faces any criminal charges.
When it all comes in this way, of course it looks shocking.
Education attorney Chris Tritigo says it's important to remember that an arrest or leave doesn't always mean guilt.
10 people out of the thousands of educators that work in this area doesn't mean the system is failing.
Still, both Capo and Tritigo agree parents should stay alert and informed.
And I think the community would have the right to go to the school board meeting and say, what the hell is going on?
You can find a full list of those teachers and the allegations of the cases they're tied to on our website, cbsnewstexas.com. In Dallas, Amelia Mugavero, CBS News Texas.
Since November of 1982, Americans have been able to visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. Safe to say it's an extraordinarily powerful monument to those who gave their lives for this country in that war, but it's a pretty tough journey for some to make for lots of different reasons. But in 1996, a traveling wall was created, and that makes it accessible to just about everyone. This week, the wall that heals is in Wiley, and our Bo Evans was there as the panels began to go up.
Piece by piece, panel by panel, volunteers in Wiley are putting together something special.
70 panels on each side.
There are over 51,000 names on the wall.
This is a 3/4 scale replica of that wall that's in Washington, D.C.
One of the most haunting and hallowed memorials in this country is making an appearance in North Texas, a traveling replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
There's people coming that served in Vietnam, the Vietnam veterans, that don't get a chance to go up to see the wall in Washington, D.C. This gives them a chance to come and say goodbye.
Mary Lang is a veteran and her husband served in Vietnam. He passed away, but Mary wanted to bring the wall to North Texas for him.
He never got to go to the Vietnam Wall up in Washington, but he would be very proud that it is here.
It's her way of honoring her husband and those that gave all.
On the wall, we have 58,281 names, those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, male and female.
Rodney Gonzalez is a site manager for the wall. He's driven to bring the wall to every corner of the country.
It's very emotional for many, and that's the reason why we do this. So if they can't come to see the wall, we will bring the wall to them.
Visitors will have a moment to honor, reflect, and heal.
I'm so proud of Wiley. I'm so proud that it's here. There are names on that wall that mean so much to so many.
In Wiley, Bo Evans, CBS News, Texas.
In Fort Worth, one coffee shop isn't just brewing espresso, it's brewing legacy.
From a family coffee roaster in Brazil to a self-taught entrepreneur in Texas, one man's story of grit, faith, and flavor is bringing new meaning to handcrafted. Lauren Crawford has a story behind Son's Coffee.
Roasted beans, steamed milk, and a warmth that feels like home. That's the atmosphere Sun's Coffee founder Eder Teixeira wanted.
When building a business, you can almost make it so perfect to where it doesn't feel authentic or it doesn't feel like home.
For Eder, coffee isn't just a drink. It's family history.
My great-grandmother, she was a coffee roaster, so she raised all the kids on her own.
A legacy that started in a tiny Brazilian town now lives on here in Fort Worth.
This is the Roxanita, so this is the Salvadorian one.
The inspiration for building the business traces back to where his love for coffee began, at home in Brazil.
Every time we came over, there was just a smell of coffee in the house, and there was always these little crackers she would make, and then obviously coffee available.
Years later, after running a successful marketing firm, Eder wanted to build something of his own, but it meant taking risk.
I just signed this 10-year lease, and I just broke ground, and I was gonna have to spend, a couple $100,000 to build it, right? Sorry, but I moved up here in the coffee shops. All right, I'll just GC this cafe myself. I'll do all the construction myself. I'll live above it, and I'll save some money, So that's what I did. I got a GC license. I moved above the apartments.
A few months later, and a few miracles, as he puts it, Sun's Coffee opened its doors. Today, the shop brings together the world's best blends.
Brazilian and South American coffees tend to be more chocolatey, so we like to source that. And then we always source African coffees to bring a fruitiness and a sweetness.
Pour the beans in.
From Brazilian roots to a hand-built Fort Worth shop, Sun's Coffee is proof that sometimes the best blends take generations.
So hopefully one day, my kids will learn how to work here, and they'll kind of take it and do something with it.
Lauren Crawford, CBS News, Texas.
This week marks 25 years since astronauts first opened the hatch to the International Space Station. Now the ISS will be retired at the end of the decade, and the race is on to replace it. Mark Strassmann takes a look at what could be next.
Commander Peggy Whitson, the first one across the A-Pass hatch.
No American astronaut has logged more time on the International Space Station than Peggy Whitson. 5 visits, 695 days in space.
And now I am excited by what comes next. So this is what we call our active corridor.
We met Whitson at Axiom Space in Houston. She joined the company 4 years ago to help design a new commercial space station.
We're interested in developing a facility that's going to support research, manufacturing, and allow astronauts to get experience there.
Axiom Space Station will start out attached to the ISS, then break free and grow to 5 modules in all, enough to support 8 people. Axiom aims to launch the first module in 2 years.
This is a mock-up of the Earth Observatory.
Axiom Vice President Aaron Tullis told us the station will feature the largest windows in the solar system.
We've learned a lot about what's possible in space, but we're looking to build a platform now that can take advantage of the possible.
Axiom is one of several companies developing commercial space stations. They hope to attract customers such as NASA and space agencies from other countries. But VAST, based in Long Beach, California, could reach orbit first next year. Its space station, called Haven 1, is privately funded and the size of a bus.
This is the primary structure of Haven 1.
Max Hout is VAST's CEO.
It will support 2-week mission initially, and then we can increase that over time.
Is this to scale? VAST hired former NASA astronaut Drew Feustel to advise on Haven 1's design.
Come through the hatch, the little tunnel, then into this corridor.
Are there enough customers to go around?
I absolutely believe there's enough customers. We are at a time in history where we've never seen this much investment, interest, infrastructure being poured into space access.
VAST is counting on that interest to fund a larger space station it's planning called Haven 2.
Here comes Whitson for final hugs as she departs the space station.
For most of Peggy Whitson's time in space, the ISS was the only occupied space station in low Earth orbit. Not anymore. Today, China has its own and threatens U.S. dominance in space. Mark Strassmann, CBS News.
Fort Worth Animal Care and Control is celebrating a big win for pets and their people. The city's live release rate has climbed to more than 85% this year, meaning that more dogs and cats are finding homes, being rescued, or being reunited with their families than ever before. CBS News Texas's Lauren Crawford shows us how those numbers tell a story of second chances and one family's perfect match.
Come on, Gunner. Come on. You want to point? You want to see your squirrel friends? Where are the squirrel friends?
For the Dela Cruz family, 4 paws and a wiggly tail showed up at just the right time.
Gunner, come on. Come on, Gunner.
After losing their family golden retriever last summer, their home felt quiet, too quiet, until they met Gunner, a dog who had been through his own hard chapter.
We had a 10-and-a-half-year-old golden retriever who had cancer unexpectedly, and we had to put him down in July. And about a month later, I know it may seem soon for some, but we needed somebody to help us heal.
Gunner was part of a cruelty case left behind when his owner moved out.
Him and another dog were left in an apartment alone.
Even after all of that, he was still a ray of light. When the family saw his photo online, they just knew.
All 3 of us, my husband, my son, and I, just really liked about him.
Gunner came home and instantly filled the void.
He wiggles all the time when he gets excited.
Now he's the center of everyday life with his new family.
He likes to cuddle with us on the couch. And I'm talking about getting on top of you and cuddling. We used to not allow dogs on the couch, but he made his way up there. Kiss. Oh my goodness, he's just brought us so much joy, so much joy. We talk about him all the time. We laugh with him. We all feel so loved by him. No.
Joy and hope that reflect a bigger story unfolding across Fort Worth. Every day, more pets like Gunner are finding homes, thanks to programs that connect families and shelter animals in new ways.
I think the more community exposure you can have, the better. A lot of people may not want to go to the shelter because it is kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
For the Dela Cruz family, that exposure changed everything.
Come on, Gunner, come on. Let's go look what's over here.
A family healed and a dog found his forever home.
I didn't expect it to click that easily, but he's essentially a perfect dog to us.
A perfect match and a reminder that every adoption is a story of second chances.
There's a good boy.
Lauren Crawford, CBS News, Texas.
Listening to the sounds, unique sounds of the so-called Dinosaur Choir. The musical group was formed right here in North Texas, more specifically at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. It's a group that's captured the attention of our media partners at Texas Monthly. Lauren Larson was able to witness the group in action. She is joining us for tonight's discussion on the topic. And first off, what is a Dinosaur Choir, Lauren, and how does their performance differ from traditional choirs?
Well, it's very like a traditional choir, except not at all. Instead of performers, singers, there are dinosaur skulls, and the singers who are playing them are either blowing into the skulls or using throat mics to make music from them.
Well, that's interesting. Associate Professor Courtney Brown, who started the group, she has a background in music and computer science. How did dinosaurs enter the mix and become part of this project?
She was driving to Arizona State University to pursue, I believe, her 3rd degree. She is a hyper interdisciplinary professor, and she stopped at the Mesalands Community College Museum, where you could press a button and hear the sound of a Parasaurolophus. I feel like the paleontologists are kind of come at me for that, but Parasaurolophus or similar dinosaur. And Courtney Brown had been a singer growing up, and so she saw this dinosaur and thought, oh my gosh, I didn't realize dinosaurs could be singers. So when she got to Arizona State, she, using their resources, was able to create these skulls from scans of Corythosaurus, which is a different dinosaur. and make them into instruments.
Very interesting. You know, Brown has also upgraded some of the instruments with her coding skills. Tell me a little bit about that and sort of what's behind all that.
Oh, coding is so over my head. I'm so impressed by people who can think like this. When I went into the story, I thought it was going to be very simple, sort of like, you know, it's just a skull. You kind of like blow into it, which one of them you do blow into it, but there's a whole mechanism within it that's very complex. But in the subsequent skulls that Courtney has created, she has put synthesizers inside that she has coded to kind of create the sound that our vocal organs create for us. And it is unbelievably complex. The throat mic that her 2 undergrad assistants used to play their skulls is it captures the vibrations of their throats, and the amount that they're opening and closing their mouths is also being picked up by cameras to create sound within those skulls.
High tech for sure, at the very least here. That's the science behind all of it. But what does Brown hope that listeners will gain from the Dinosaur Choir, you think?
Well, that's what's really interesting to me, is kind of the why of something that's this complex. And Professor Brown has said that her goal is to help us experience some empathy with the dinosaurs, which I think was a really lovely idea, because I grew up watching Fantasia, which had the scene of the dinosaurs being destroyed by the asteroid that was set to Rite of Spring. And the Dinosaur Choir's main song, like their hit number, is called Anger at the Asteroid, and it kind of documents this arc leading to the dinosaurs' destruction. And it is very sad, and it is very moving. So in that, she has extremely succeeded.
Yeah. All right. Well, our thanks to Lauren Parson for tonight's discussion. You can read her entire article right now on TexasMonthly.com.